Oops. Welcome to Unhinged, Unfiltered, and Unscripted. We are doing a wonderful driving rant episode. Not more of a rant, but just an general conversational piece while I drive to go meet my dad for lunch, which was a nice treat, by the way. I haven't gone there yet, but I know it will be a nice treat because, well, one, quality time with my dad. But two, just gets me out of the house and gets me out of my own way a little bit too, because recently just not saying that I am trapped in my house or that I feel trapped, but it just like I don't have a desire to leave my house. So therefore, like I don't really go anywhere, don't have any place to go really. So like I stay home all day. And I have my friends, don't get me wrong, which are great, but it's just nice to get out and get away and just clear my head from all the bullshit that, I deal with day to day. Which earlier this morning, in a ironic twist of things, my kids had asked me if, you know, I was happy they go to school because I don't like them home all the time. And I was like, no, that's not at all true. I was like, I miss you when you guys aren't here, but when you're here, you're constantly fighting. I can't take it. I can't stand it. Like I get it, you're 13 months apart, which in my opinion, if you ask me, which I know you didn't, they're considered Irish twins. I consider them Irish twins because it's easier than saying they're 13 months apart. Yeah, not the same calendar year, but then again, they were both born towards the end of the year, so they wouldn't have been calendar anyways. But I know technically Irish twins are 12 months apart, but that extra month, I'm just gonna take it because he was born 2 weeks late, she was born 2 weeks early. So, I mean, there's that, but that's just my logic. Don't mind me. But it's a constant battle, and they're only a week, by the way, when they get home for maybe 3.5 hours. You wouldn't think that's a lot of time to really fucking fight, but it is. And it's constant, nonstop, all the time. Like there's no middle ground there. So, it's a nice distraction to get out, and feel like a daughter rather than a mom and a person rather than, somebody's snack bitch. So it's a nice thing. He did yell at me though. He did do that. And not in a mean way. He I had just told him that, I don't really have the money to go out when he had asked, and then he told me, well, if someone's asking you out, for dinner or coffee or whatever, that usually implies that they're paying. And I was like, which I get. I mean, like I get that that's, a standard way of, courtesy or whatever. Like if I ask somebody out for a lunch date or for coffee, yeah, that generally means that I'll be buying it. At least in my head. And I know that. But I also was raised to never assume something because, well, besides the general cliche of it makes an ass out of you and me, I also just don't like to do that because, I don't want people thinking that my friendship or me spending time with you revolves around like money or, that I'm expecting you to pay if we go out or do something. Like that's not what I am or who I am or anything about me. Like that means nothing to me. So it's not it's not something I generally think about because like, again, I don't want to just sit here and assume, oh, that they're going to pay and then go there and they don't and then now I'm screwed. That means if I don't have the money at that moment, then I'm screwed, not, whatever. But like it's just one of those things that I don't think about because again, I'm not the type of person who uses people for any means whatsoever, let alone, you know, personal gain or personal, advantages, which I find hysterical when someone once said that about me, that I had used them. And I was like, but I didn't though. I'm just a, overly nice person. And then when you fucked me over, that was it. It was over. It was done for. And then it wasn't that I used you for anything. It was just you were a nice friend. You were a good person up until it came to, not talking shit behind my back. And then things changed. It's funny though how quickly things can change from something good to something bad in minutes. I do apologize, by the way, about the sniffles. I because I don't know if it's my house, but I've been cleaning like nonstop, so I don't know, or if it's just allergies or the season or whatever. But I'm not really sick. I'm just congested. But man, I've dusted so much this weekend because of it. Like it's so congested. And so, real quick, a little backstory. So why these episodes haven't been being posted, or why we haven't really been up with the podcast these past couple of weeks is besides Jen coming to visit me, which by the way, super awesome. And we should have done an episode while she was in Jersey, but we forgot because we were having so much fun. But beside the point, these past couple of weeks have been really rough on me alone, but her too as well, because we're both super busy. But well, she's busy. I have no life, so I'm not really busy. But I've been going back and forth between doctors and for going for tests and for a whole bunch of things, right? And I don't have anything really right now to talk about that because right now everything is very still in the air. We don't really know anything. There's no concluded answers or really anything. But all I can really say right now is I have some hearing loss in my left ear. It may become permanent, but if the blockage is not the fluid that the doctors are thinking, then there's a potential for it to come back. The doctor's not very hopeful there though. But I have to go see an ear surgeon in order to really kind of know more. It also may lead to some ear surgery, and that should not be fun. But so so there's a lot of issues going on right now between my ears, my sinus cavity, my head. So just like the whole nine. So like it makes like my current sniffles to you, the normal people, I say normal in the general sense, like the healthy, normal people, it's the sniffles, which is a little congestion, which is an annoyance more than really anything. Right now, because of my head trauma last year and what I'm going through right now, it's very amplified. It's very cloudy and it hurts a lot. Some days more than others. Right now, it's just more of a slight pain in like the middle of my head. But it does make things a little harder in the sense of, talking or doing episodes of the podcast on live or stuff like that, or even on TikTok usually. Because for me to put the headphones in, I usually have to put it in on the right ear because that's right now my good ear. But because I have to put it in on my right ear, I cannot hear really much outside of my left ear. Because the type of hearing loss it is, it's not my hearing drum that's the problem. It's the bone connecting the vibrations and the sound and then like making out the words to my head. So my eardrum is fine and healthy, yes. But the bone that connects it and makes that sound a word, that part's not really transmitting. So right, it's really just like amplified muffles. So if I do that, then I can't hear my kids. I don't know if they're getting into trouble. And of course, I'm not really having them on the podcast for a couple of reasons. But one, because there's a lot of profanity and that's a lot for young minds to be around. And I know that my cursing in recent days has been a lot more extensive than some. And it's definitely gotten to a point where it's, not really good for my kids to be hearing. So I try to be mindful of that. But then when I do episodes at night, when they're supposed to be in bed, then I can't hear if they're sneaking out of their beds, which makes it, a little hard too, because there's already that trust issue there. So it kind of just makes it more, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, I feel like I don't trust my kids more because of it, because like now they know that I'm having some issues. If I put my headphones on and if they know I'm doing the podcast, they're gonna try to get away with it more. So it makes me feel like I don't trust them even more than I already didn't. Like I don't want to say that in a mean way because I do trust them, but not when they're trying to be sneaky or conniving because they're kids. But so it makes things hard. We'll leave it there. But I am definitely trying to get into doing a couple more episodes, whether it's just single, which is just me, because I know JJ is busy with work and the holidays and her car, and she has a bunch of shit going on, and the fact that she lives in fucking Nebraska. But outside of all of that, like if I have to do a couple of solo ones or have some other guests come in and join me, that so be it. But I will promise you guys as my followers, I will make more of an attempt to get more of these out. I was I was asking a couple of my fan base some episodes they thought would be a good idea. I did I didn't want to talk about Christmas yet. I know the holidays are coming up and it's always tricky and it's always hard. But I didn't want to do a Christmas one quite yet because we are still early in November. We still have Thanksgiving coming up next week. Or in my household this year, it's called Ari Given because she does not like sharing her birthday on Thanksgiving or with a holiday. So we have to make it about her. And I know that's not the meaning of the holiday. Trust me, I know. But I didn't want to do a Christmas one quite yet because, again, we had a little time. I want to wait on that one. So, we are going to, again, either myself, JJ, or both, or whatever, someone will be talking about doing a history on Thanksgiving, which I know we all kind of know anyways. But, like, I don't know, it's going to be more of like a informative, but also a thankful episode where we'll learn a little bit about the history, we'll tell a little stories, and we'll share what we think or what we are thankful for with this year, and not just this year, but like overall, just like a bunch of things that are related to Thanksgiving, kind of to give homage to Thanksgiving, a holiday that is most slept on. But I think before I do that episode, I do want to do an episode with you guys. And this one I feel like is going to be a little bit more of a solo project for myself outside of the Zodiac ones and the car ranting ones. But I think what I want to do is an episode where I talk about this interesting topic that my husband talked to me on. That was a lot of talks in one sentence. But my husband was telling me the other day, actually, one second, I'm going to take a drink. And I know I don't need to explain that to you, but I kind of do because you can't see me. I don't want you to think there was an awkward long pause in the middle of a thought. Anyways, so I wanted to do an episode. Sorry, my husband was talking to me about. So we were talking about true crimes and like interesting things about crimes and arson and stuff like that because of a podcast I was also listening to. By the way, no one in my family is an arson. Just wanted to clarify that real quick. By the way, not beeping at other cars, just beeping through a one-lane bridge. Also clarifying. But so we were talking about true crimes and whatnot. Then he got onto this story. I do believe it was a Colorado man back in the 50s. I'll have to double check, but that's part of the podcast itself too, where his nickname was Killdozer. And so he was telling me a little bit about this, and I was like, what is that? Like, oh, my bad. We were talking about the armored trucks that pick up money from stores and transports them. The big armored trucks. Anyway, so we were talking about that, and then he was like, I want to kill Dozer. And I was like, what's that? So then he was telling me there's this guy who went around in a armored bulldozer. So it was like bulletproof, bomb proof, all of like the proofs. And he would kill people. Just like slaughter these people and structures and stuff with a dozer. And they tried to get him for many years, and he got away for it for a long time. Was finally caught, though, according to my husband in the story. He said that he was caught because he had bulldozed a house, not realizing there was a basement, and then got caught or stuck in the basement. And my husband believed that he had offed himself. and that's how he died, and that like ended it. But again, that was all just from what he was telling me and what he remembered. So what I think I want to do is, I know we're not like a true crime podcast. We don't actually have a set label. We are a free balling lifestyle categorizing podcast. So therefore, we don't really have just like a set genre, which is cool because oh, that is fucking awesome. Sorry, quick side note. I'm driving past this reservoir that is completely drained. And it looks awesome. I know it's not, but anyway. So what I want to do is actually do the research while on the podcast itself, so you can experience, looking this up and reading about it and whatnot. And I think it would be a pretty cool thing to do because, well, what I think is a pretty interesting story to tell. But by the way, it's all fresh, not only in my mind, but it's just like a real raw, fresh, informative episode as well. And yes, it's technically like talking on a topic that I don't generally talk on. But I think for like more of our man based followers or just some people in general, this may be more something they relate to more because, well, one, our man based followers aren't exactly mothers. Now, they may be single dads, which is, yes, playing the roles of both parts. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they can't do the role as a mother. They're just not physically, technically mothers. Because I know my dad, when my mom was stationed in Germany and was in the army and whatnot, my dad did play both roles as father and mother. And I know there are some single dads out there who play father and mother, and they do a badass job. And let me tell you, there are some of them that do it better than I do as an actual mother. So not by any means not saying that. But there may be some of our man-based followers that aren't even parents. So our normal stuff that we do generally talk on may not relate well or, whatever, but they still show up and show their support. So I think in a way, I want to pay it in a way back to them by doing something that's more general and for the public and not for one particular person. Now, crime may not be their special interest or peak or whatever. I am one person. I can't appease to everyone, but at least I'm trying, which I will say that today's day and age is very rare that some people do. And I wish that were not true. I wish people put more of an effort in to not just thinking about others, but also giving it back and just being good people. I feel like we as a society have lost touch with that. And it's kind of obnoxious because, like, I feel like some days I feel like I think about other people's feelings and whatever a little bit too much. I'm a little too sensitive. I'm a little too nice and not hard enough. But at the same time, like I feel like it's the bare minimum that I'm doing. So therefore, is the bare minimum that I'm doing, the bare minimum for society, or is it that just am I too nice of a person? Because I know this is all over the place, and I do apologize, but like it really just it really makes me wonder how we got to be where we are, how we got here, how we got to be such a cold country, let's say. Like we're so far separated, and it really boggles my mind because like how did we get to be this way? You're and not to bring politics really into here because I don't really like talking about politics, which is a rule that I grew up with my whole life. My dad told me there are a few things we don't talk about: politics, sexual orientation, because back in then it was an early topic we talked on, or religion. Three things you don't talk about because those three things can start a war anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter. And I have seen that to be true. I have seen friendships end because politics and whatever. And it boggles my mind because I could give two shits on who you voted for. In my mind, right now, where we are, it's the greater of two evils. You're not going to pick somebody and they're going to be great. You're still picking a politician. You're still picking somebody who's in my opinion, is corrupt because a lot of politicians these days are. Now, there are some out there that are true and kind hearted and genuine, but very few of them are around these days. And I get it to an extent because, like, I get that it's where we are, that they kind of just have to do it that way. But at the same time, like, again, we are so far separated as a country. And that whole united we stand, divided we fall statement that we grew up on, more than so true. Because look at as a whole, we are so far divided and we are rumbling. We're no longer united, which is kind of sad because it's kind of in our name, but yet the states can't be. So it's just very, it's very touchy. But also, my thoughts are it's either one or the other these days, too. So it's either you're a liberal, you're on the left, you're whatever, or you're a conservative and you're on the right. And both of those spectrums are so far separated. It's like you can't have, so you can't be like a Republican and have liberal thoughts these days, or you can't be a liberal and have re- Republican thoughts. It's no matter what you do, you have to pick or choose one side, and there you are. There you stay. And I know I have gotten into some heated arguments in the past about this, but like, I am a registered Republican. Yes, I am. That is true. But that does not mean that I have forgotten some core values that today is considered a liberal thought or the left thought or whatever. I have a brain in my head. Yes, it has gone through some serious trauma these past couple months, let alone my whole life, because I was always, using my head, just not in the way I should have. But I had these thoughts that puts me kind of in the middle, but you can't be in the middle these days. It's either do or die. It's either right or left. And I feel like that's part of our separation problem. That's part of the reason why, as a country, we are so far divided because we can't mix. We can't conjoin two ideas and make them into a feasible, doable mixture. It's like oil and water. It separates. And it's not healthy, in my opinion. And again, I don't know a lot about politics, and I don't like talking about it because it is a very ugly, very stressful, very distraught topic because so many people get so up in arms about it. Again, like I have seen friendships destroyed because they didn't vote for the person that the other person voted for. They are this person or they don't do this. And I don't think that's right. It does not matter who I voted for. And that shouldn't be the basis or anything about our friendship. Our friendship should not matter or be based off of my political views on the country. Because if that were true, I would not have many friends. Because my political views are not just that of, again, a Republican. I also have other thoughts. Like, for instance, I think we should be ruled under a monarch rule and kind of run the country that way. Have more restrictions, have more limitations. And yes, we are the land of the free. Yes, we still are. But that freedom that we have grown up to be that that 30-year-old millennial who has been given the rights to be an adult, but needs an adultier adult because they don't know what they're doing. And yes, I may have made a slight crack on a whole generation, and I get it. But at the same time, I am that generation. I am that adult, and I need an adultier adult. I need somebody to help me figure my shit out because someone told me I'm an adult, gave me the rights to vote, to own property, to own a vehicle, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So therefore, I need an adultier adult. And I feel like that is America. We are a country that has all this freedom, can do whatever they want within reason, obviously. But we can do these things, but we're not the older generation, or we're not the older, mindset or the older adult. We are the young adolescent or the young adult, the young financially irresponsible kid at heart country. And we need structure and we need rules and we need limitations and we need to kind of regain those core values and those responsibilities because we're broken. And again, that's just my mindset. Again, not a lot of people are going to agree with that. Therefore, if we picked our friends based on their political views, again, I would not have any. Because again, my political views are very jumbled, very non one or the other, very confusing, and very all over the place. Kind of like America as a country. But I will say at how my ring got stuck into my vest as I am wrapping it up because I am pulling up to my lunch here in a couple of minutes. I will say that while closing this up on this end of the car rantings, I will be doing an episode on my way home. Granted, I hope that this is not the start or the finish of this topic. I hope to be done with this topic. One, forever, but two, for now, at least. I will hopefully come up with some other topic ideas while at lunch. And definitely will. Words are extremely hard. Woohoo! But no, I will also, when I come back, I will. Sorry, that's again not what I wanted to say. I will keep you guys posted on the upcoming episodes that will be coming out here in the near future with. Okay, that's not the driveway. Okay, whew, I thought I missed the entrance. I'll be keep coming back and keeping you guys posted with, dates and more information on the other episodes. So at least there's that. And then as far as now, that is all she wrote. And I will be joining you guys back in a little while. You stay beautiful, stay healthy, and stay hydrated. Much love. And also, always, by the way, stay unhinged, unfiltered, and never ever be scripted. Bye.